Well, after nearly 2 weeks of searching, there is a new lead in the hunt for the missing Malaysian passenger plane. Australia has obtained satellite images of 2 objects in the Southern Indian Ocean. Together with the Malaysian authorities, they're investigating if this could be debris from flight MH370 that went missing 12 days ago. Now, we'll be live in Malaysia in just a moment, where Nicole Johnson is standing by for us in Kuala Lumpur. But first, let's go to Andrew Thomas, who's in Sydney in Australia. Now, Andrew, the fact that Tony Abbott made this announcement about the discovery of these objects in Parliament definitely reflects the confidence in which Australia is going into this search.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. 7 hours ago now, Tony Abbott stood up in the Australian Parliament and announced what he called a potentially significant find when it comes to the search for MH370. The fact that the Prime Minister stood up in person, nothing was leaked in advance, no word from anyone else, that in itself suggests this could be a significant development, and he called it there in Parliament credible new information based on this photograph taken by a satellite which shows 2 objects floating in the sea. An incredibly remote area, 2,500 kilometres from the Australian coast, and very hard to see what those objects are from satellites. That's why they're now sending vessels to that area, as I explain here.
Is this debris from Malaysia Airlines flight MH370? This fuzzy photo, taken from a satellite, is said to show a number of objects floating in the Southern Indian Ocean, one said to be 24 metres long.
The objects are relatively indistinct on the imagery. I don't profess to be an expert in assessing the imagery, but those who are expert indicate they are credible sightings. The indication to me is of objects that are a reasonable size and probably awash, with water bobbing up and down out of the surface.
Can you give us any idea of the size? Like the size of a basketball or a seat cushion, or much larger than that?
No, much larger than that. The largest image that I've seen is assessed as being 24 metres. There's another one that's smaller than that, and a number of other images in the general area of the biggest one.
It was Australia's Prime Minister who first announced what he called a potentially important development.
I would like to inform the House that new and credible information has come to light in relation to the search for Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 in the Southern Indian Ocean. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority has received information based on satellite imagery of objects possibly related to the search. I can inform the House that a Royal Australian Air Force Orion has been diverted to attempt to locate the objects.
4 search planes, 3 from Australia's military, 1 from New Zealand's, are taking turns to search the relatively narrow area around where the objects were spotted. A commercial ship that was in the area has also been diverted to look. An Australian naval vessel is en route. But with moving water and poor visibility in the area, getting human eyes to identify the objects one way or another is still a difficult task.
Andrew, do you have any details as to what these objects that showed up in the satellite image?
Only what you heard in that report. One of them is 24 metres long. There's at least one other significant object of about 5 metres and potentially more as well. Just in the last few moments, though, I've had a tweet from the Australian Maritime Safety Authority. They say that their first plane that was on the scene, because of rain and because of poor visibility, it hasn't yet been able to locate the debris, if that's what it is, the objects anyway that the satellite picture has seen. Other planes are now en route. As you heard in that report, one of the objects 24 metres long. Let's just compare that to the dimensions of this 777 that's gone missing. The plane has a wingspan of about 61 metres. It's more than 63 metres long in total. Its tail is nearly 19 metres high, and the fuselage, the main part of the plane, is 6 metres from top to bottom. So a few dimensions there, if that helps in relation to this object, which of course, or objects I should say, which of course may not be nothing to do with MH370. This should all come with a massive caution around it. We still don't know what those objects are.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. That's Andrew Thomas there reporting for us from Sydney.